Hey there, everybody. So before we begin, this is basically just a recap on and with slightly less detail and whatnot on the Traincraft mod. Now, this has basically just been ported to 1.7. So if you want a more detailed look, I'll provide a link as an annotation, or put a link in the description or comments. Probably all three of them. So yeah, enjoy. Afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another mod review. This time we're taking a look at the 1.7 updated port of Traincraft. It's same but at 1.7. That's enough, folks. See you next time. Oh, okay, there is actually still a good chunk of differences. So let's take a look. Now, thanks to the efforts of likes of Eternal Blue Flame and a few other modders, they have, at no cost, upgraded and ported this mod over to 1.7, and they are currently working on a 1.11 port as I'm speaking. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, for those new to this whole Traincraft thing, Traincraft is basically a mod that allows you to have, well, trains in Minecraft. This is one of about 3 mods. I've done a review of, well, actually about 3 or 4 mods, but we don't normally speak of Railcraft for obvious reasons. So, yeah, this is one of the various mods. Now, before I begin, I just want to clarify something. Like, sure, you see these specialized tracks, and don't get me wrong, they look extremely good, but they are still compatible with normal vanilla tracks. Now, if you're going to be making curves, you want to make them kind of like this, instead of, like, full 9 degrees, because not only does that look kind of funky, but that also increases the chances of your train derailing drastically. So, yeah. Now, with this being, I guess, an unofficial port per se, it's going to have its bugs, and one of the bugs is if you destroy a tender, the game crashes. So, yeah, that's going to get fixed in the future. So let's just get the boring stuff out of the way, per se. So here we are with the various building blocks. Well, there's actually a few different building blocks, but right here is going to be your utility blocks. So the game spawns a few new ores. And this is copper, oil sands, and petroleum, which is basically just oil but in stone. What you do is, of course, you smelt the copper for wiring, which is useful for diesel, electric, and electric locomotives, which are built in these. Now, if you want to build the components for the trains, you're going to want to build them in, where is it? In the train workbench. This is basically, you can only craft a limited amount of stuff inside the normal workbench when it comes to trains. And before we continue any further, if you want to learn how to craft... Oh, for the love of God! Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that, people. And actually, let me turn... oh my God, not the video settings. Jesus. Okay, so let's turn this sucker down. Yeah, that's a lot more bearable. So the pig's not squealing right in your ears. So, continuing on, if you want to learn basically absolutely anything about this mod, the Traincraft guide is your friend. Now, I'm not going to be going over all the crafting recipes because that would take us probably another half hour, and honestly, when is the last time you really wanted to stick around for the crafting recipe part of a mod review? Like, come on. So, yeah, it gives credits and whatnot to the people who ported it. Eternal Blue Flame, Nitrous Oxide, X for Emerald, Haggard, Helldiver, all those good guys, who, by the way, are active on the forum thread, and especially Eternal Blue Flame. Very, very active. So, let's go ahead. It goes ahead and tells you pretty much everything you need to know about the mod. Driving things, how to use things, crafting recipes, and take a look at all of these recipes. Yeah. So yeah, there is quite a bit of pages. Now, I'm not going to be crafting a locomotive because, well, it kind of explains it in there, and kind of want to not keep everybody falling asleep in their chairs as they're watching this video or, clicking away. But anyways, so picking up back where I mentioned on the ores. Now, this can work with both petroleum and oil sands, and I also believe it works with sugarcane, unless they change that. Oh dear God, it's right there. So just put this in a distillation tower, fire it up with some coal or other various fuel, and it will start making you some diesel fuel for powering your diesel locomotives. Now, this is basically used to create steel. Now, just, oh dear. Let's put charcoal. Now you put iron ingots in with coal dust. This is kind of like how it's done with your other mods. So just go ahead and put those in. Okay, I screwed something up. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to waste any extra time on that. Just read the book. So, yeah, sorry if I sound rude to any y'all, but let's just get this started. Or picked up, rather. So, for the electric locomotives, they are powered with redstone. So just hop inside the locomotive, and you press R when you're inside a locomotive or a rail car that has interactive user interface. So let's just go ahead, grab us some redstone, because apparently I didn't. And as you can see, there is basically your little meter there. It shows you how much power the sucker has, and you click Start Engine, and you should generally start hearing a sort of idle sound. Now, the unlocked function and locked function basically means, like, if you're on multiplayer and you don't want other people screwing with your trains, you just click that button and have it locked. Now, setting on the brakes here is honestly very, very important, and it's very important in pretty much all sorts of locomotives, because sometimes when you think you've brought it down to zero, the locomotive will troll you, and it'll just keep moving very, very slowly in one direction until it starts running away from you. Now, it doesn't pick up speed, contrary to what I said. I just was kind of having foam come through the mouth there. Not literally. I do not have rabies. Thank you very much. I'm an elf from outer space, not a raccoon. Okay. So let's move on to the steamers, and I'm sure this is why a lot of you have came here for. What are you doing? Okay, then. So let's just go ahead, fire this sucker up with some coal, put the water in here, which, by the way, will return buckets, so it's not going to be like vanilla Minecraft and be all cheap on you. Consume all your buckets. The tender also works, and I believe it can also store coal as well. So, yeah, if you're on, like, a mod pack and you need to store stuff, very, very useful. As you can see, here's a little example of one of the bugs, but honestly, the guys have done what they can. You can't really give them much flack. So, yeah, this is also an electric locomotive, but let's get over to the diesel locomotives just for kicks. Now, before I continue on the diesel locomotives, let us grab this, because, as you notice in the chat, it tells you that we can dye it. So just right-click on it with a dye, boom. We now have a CSX train. Just hop right in, press R, load the diesel canisters in there, start the engine, and there we go. Now, if you want to use the horns or whistle of any vehicle, press H. There is no bells just yet, though. They'll probably come in future updates, if they come in at all, simply due to the way Minecraft sound system is coded. So yeah, there's that. Now, a little change between this update and the last is these generators, wind, water, and the diesel generators no longer support EU. They now do redstone flux, which is very, very useful considering now these days pretty much all the mod packs and most mods use redstone flux now. So yeah, there's that. Now here's just here's a good chunk of what this mod has to offer as far as locomotives and rolling stock is concerned. So, you know, just scroll all the way through here and you see all that rolling stock and whatnot. Now, another change seems to be is the locomotive hitboxes seem to be a little bit larger than they used to be from the last update. There's also very, very minor improvements when it comes to some of the models, like this one, for example. It's not just a 2D, kind of like that, how that one is. But nonetheless, another difference is the addition of 18-block long ramps. I guess we'll just call them that for lack of a better name, because I'm trying to keep this going at a good pace, and you get the general idea. So, yeah, we have longer elevated platforms. Now, the Zeppelins seem to be largely the same. And yes, you can indeed power them with coal. And they follow the same controls as before. Notice new players, they are finicky, and I believe to go up and down it's Z and X or R and F. No, not R and F. I'm pretty sure it's Z and X, but it's very, very slow when going up and down. So, if anyone new, please take note. So, yeah. Moving right along, I'm not quite going to be using the tracks builder, but nonetheless, I will show it off as far as the UI is concerned and whatnot. So, as you can see, it says it doesn't quite work with our fancy 3D new tracks just yet. So you're going to be using stacks of vanilla rails. So what you're going to want to do here, plug in the rails, and this is where it deposits all the stuff it digs at. Right here. And if you want any blocks towards the side of the tunnel and on the roof, go ahead and plop them in there. And if you want to put like a gravel, but you don't want anything falling, like any of the gravel falling, you can just go ahead and put some blocks below it. Now, something worthy of note, if you put the blocks in here and here, it will place the blocks regardless if it's digging in a tunnel or not. So that's good to know. And you can set it to follow tracks or remove tracks. I don't know why you would want it to remove tracks. And you can select the elevation that you want it to go to, which apparently, according to my last reading of the forum thread, is broken for the time being. So there's that. So I'm sure a bunch of you are aching not only how to set up cars, but also actually driving the train. So I'll show you real quick how to hook up the cars. So let's just take this sucker. Put two of these guys down. Use the stake. And just push them together like that. Now, unfortunately, these guys don't come with hand brakes just yet. So you're going to want to try to push them into the buffers if you want them to completely stop. So, yeah, there's that. So, let's show you all how to actually drive the trains. So, let's just hop in. Now, another thing worthy of note to new players is the hitboxes. They're kind of funky, and you kind of have to look for them, per se. It can take a little bit of time. So, just hop into F5 so that we have a better view. Make sure that we take off our brake and that our engine is on. And next, you simply use W and S to go forwards and backwards. Now this can also depend on the direction you're looking at. So if you want to go backwards or forwards and it's not quite going the way you want it to, simply check the direction that your character is looking through standard view rather than F5. So as you can see, the tracks work somewhat fairly smoothly. They're still ironing things out. It does have a little bit of physics, so if you have a heavier train, it's going to have to work harder. And it does mention that on the tooltip. There. Minecraft horsepower and maximum speed. So yeah, it's nice to know. Oh, god damn it, Rain. So yes, it's really smoothly. Now, it's not required that you have tenders hooked up to the steam locomotives. That you can simply just add them on. And also, it just looks a heck of a lot better. And as you may notice, trains can do multiple things. One, they can not only basically just keep moving on by themselves, but two, they also kill mobs. So, yeah, that's a lot of fun if you want to just spam a bunch of chickens on the tracks. or do the signature thing and place a cow on the tracks with a steam engine plowing towards it, using the namesake cow catcher. Now, the way to set up these guys right here with these switch tracks is just literally put a lever beside them like you would in vanilla Minecraft. So, I believe that wraps up just about everything. Oh, actually, forgot to show off the chunk loader again. So you just hold shift and you right click. Okay, apparently it only works on locomotives, but hold shift and right click, and it will let you know if it's going to load chunks. Which apparently by default, it likes to load chunks, which is, I guess, good to know. I don't think it used to do that in the past. So I believe that wraps everything up for now. If I missed something, feel free to let me know in the comments. I tried to make this a bit more swift because, you know, I try not to make everything boring. And this is effectively, the mod is effectively the same, but, you know, slightly more updated. It's in a newer version. You know, we have redstone flux and whatnot, so yeah. Before I completely leave off, let's go ahead and show you the armor. Now, the armor here is a bit of a pain to make, but it's kind of like your power armors. But to my knowledge, it's not quite compatible with, like, redstone flux and charging and whatnot. It'll give you extra abilities. It'll give you stuff like a night vision at night, jump boost, increased regeneration, and otherwise all around, otherwise very extreme protection. So yeah, very useful. And I believe that wraps up absolutely everything, apart from this new railroad crossing block, which I find to be extremely useful aesthetically. I can imagine seeing Trolley Street running, or, you know, this being used at a station and whatnot. But anyways, enough of my blabbering. So yeah, let me know if I missed anything. Hope I informed anyone new to this mod what it's like. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time, folks. Peace out.